when my team first met Tareq, and the ones that didn't know you, by the way, I'm off script already. The ones
Help yourself.
The ones that didn't know you were like, this guy's talking about all this stuff, and I'm not sure, man, I don't know. And I'm like, you don't know Tareq. So why don't you talk a little bit about Humane and the idea behind it and how it started?
Well, I think, as Chuck said, we know each other for such a long time, but we always participated in driving a significant disruption and innovation. And the marriage between building amazing technology and seeing its impact on humanity, I think you and I had the pleasure to see it. So, when we decided to participate together and build Geo at the time, I mean, you remember when you entered...
That was pretty stress-free.
Oh, like no stress at all. There's only 1.4 billion people you have to cater for.
And Mukesh.
Different story. So, but the reality is we've seen and witnessed a country where at the time, a symbol on our devices, you and I did not recognize, a 2G symbol coming in. And at the time, we're talking 10 years ago, we built the all IP infrastructure, build this LTE network, change the primitive in a country that went from 154th in the world in data index to being #1. And then in Japan, as Chuck said, when I pitched the idea, I said, I'm really obsessed about democratization of infrastructure. And it's important, by the way, to the rationale and the reason and the business model of Humane as well. So I pitched to Chuck. I said, Chuck, I'm going to do something in telco that the world said cannot be done. We wanted to take legacy infrastructure design from proprietary hardware and move telco to a cloud-based infrastructure. And it was true. I mean, everybody said that this was a crazy idea, it will not work. But really, this is the time where I loved and enjoyed the relationship that we built with the larger Cisco family. They actually were mostly my employees, to be honest with you, Chuck. I mean, so they believed in the mission.
They still are, actually.
So, in this journey of my life, I feel I'm really lucky and blessed that I worked in 3 continents before. I started in the US, and I tell everybody this is really where I learned innovation. Went to India, I learned scale, went to Japan, I learned precision, moved to Saudi Arabia, and this is where I really met ambition and vision. It's remarkable. Yeah. So, I was invited to participate in an event where I told many people, how much do you know actually about Saudi Arabia? Do you know that there's snow in the country?
I do.
So I said the assumption is maybe it's just desert, but there's snow, amazing crystal blue seas. So when I took this role, there is one thing that we talked, and I heard many of the speakers today talk about AI, and I thought the whole world is in a stage where we are supply constrained. And I never thought, by the way, that there is such a thing that it was called an AI bubble, or infrastructure demand will be lower than what it is today. And one thing that Humane was established on, and it probably would have been easier, Chuck, for me to, when I went to the chairman of the board, His Royal Highness, I said, let me focus on one thing. I pitched to my board an idea that we should be an AI company focused on the total AI value chain. So from data center, compute, diversified chips, models, applications, and AI solutions, which is an advisory business that we have. So company launched in August last year, and we've been really sprinting since August till today.
Yeah, it's really great. And so I guess there's a couple of places we could go here. First of all, when you talk about, models, Arabic models, as well as the infrastructure, the data centers, the full stack of everything, how do you think about how to balance the investments and what you're going to do and what you're not going to do? And
well, I think for me, think about it. It's 5 legal business entities that Humane is structured under. So Humane Core is actually our data center segment. It is the core, the shell, the mechanical, the power. So the unique value proposition that Saudi has to the world is really power and energy. There is an abundance in the country that is just utterly remarkable. And their energy is not only traditional energy, but 20% of the energy is also renewable at an effective cost, Chuck. So if we get this right, if we really get this right, what it means, we offer not just to local demands in the country, but international demands, a value proposition that is very hard to match anywhere else. Power available today is north of 15 gigawatt of capacity on power. And at the right price, at the right tariffs, so that means your total cost of ownership could be anywhere between 20 to 30% cheaper. So I wear 5 hats during my day. I feel sometimes I'm a real estate developer, and a good portion of my work, obviously a lot of work in collaboration with the Saudi government and the US government on all of the imports that we have to do for different chips to obviously offer both inferencing and training. Our model team and science team are very much focused on the Arabic LLM, but there is no company like Humane would start if you don't fix the fundamental problem, the infrastructure. So this is really the key focus for us right now, is to address the infrastructure, not just for local workloads, but really international workloads.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about one of the big scale issues is power, and you talked about how you have an advantage in Saudi. So we visited the Ministry of Energy.
Yes.
And the room where we walked in, and there were all these people sitting, and they were working. Can you talk a little bit about how that process is working?
Yeah.
And how you feed requirements and what they're doing to actually help?
Well, so I mean, I would tell you an experience that happened to me. I had the privilege of obviously working with many government entities, both in Japan and India and the US. But something very, very unique about government in Saudi Arabia, it feels like it's a business, actually. So the way that the governments are structured is an enablement, not just regulators. So I'll tell all of you a story. Honestly, really an amazing leader is His Royal Highness, the Minister of Energy. Yeah. I went to him and I said to him, Your Royal Highness, this problem is very simple.
This is a Crown Prince's brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I told him that I am in need of identification of substations that have power on government land that's available adjacent to this power. In less than 6 weeks, what has happened is to me a miracle I have not seen. 16 government entities came together. They were working from the Office of Minister of Energy. Humane was there. This is private-public partnership at its best to serve a purpose, to really accelerate Humane ambition. We have found from this 6 weeks of effort, 211 pieces of land, north of 14 gigawatt of capacity that we could tap onto. No build is needed for substations. And that's really why I feel super optimistic about the future of where Humane is heading towards, and a very large reason of the success that we had and the acceleration that we had is how private-public entities are working together to support a larger national objective.
So if we asked a lot of other companies what their biggest impediment to scale is, it would be this issue of power.
Correct.
And finding the right locations. So given that that's all easy for you, you got that all nailed.
Well, it's not easy, I'm just saying.
What is the biggest issue that you face in actually scaling?
Well, I mean, a couple of things. On the infrastructure piece, I don't want to underestimate this, but Chuck, I've done massive infrastructure projects in my life. It's not, I'm not worried about it or not stressed about it. It's just about execution, making sure that you have the right team, that we live up to our commitment. I mean, you'll hear from Matt here. I am committed to Matt now on Amazon to do their first AI factory outside of the US and Saudi Arabia.
He told me to just make sure we confirm that on stage.
Yeah, so I'm very, very committed to this. But what I'm really obsessed about is now execution. This is just a matter of execution. There is really, I see no obstacles. And execution is about being in the weeds, micromanaging the project every day, ensuring that all the long lead items for building data center is secured. And honestly, like I'm feeling very optimistic of what we will unlock and what we will be able to offer, not just locally, but to the world. I think you've heard enough today about power, 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 and we need more of it to be able to keep up with the demand that we're seeing in the market today.
Well, if you think about the scale, just help me remember when we were building the Geo network, which is the largest IP network, IP voice network in the world for sure. What, how many towers were we bringing up a week?
Oh my God. Let's put it this way. 400,000 macro base stations were built. 1 million Wi-Fi access point was done. Hundreds of DC and data centers were constructed. 1 million customers a day were onboarded.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a different level.
Yeah, so you've seen this. Let's shift and talk a little bit about trust, because, you know, partnerships are important. There's got to be a lot of trust there. There's importance of trust in the solutions that you deliver. How do you guys think about trust and amongst partnerships as well as what you're offering for your clients?
Yeah, so let me share with everybody. I mean, the good thing about Chuck and I talking, we never rehearse anything. So I'll tell you exactly what we decided to do when we're establishing Humane. For me, as a CEO, to have credibility, to look at every enterprise that we will work with, there was a decision beyond data center and infrastructure we have to make. See, a decision where an enterprise evolve and transform itself to really prove that AI is delivering productivity, Chuck. So, and it was a really, really difficult task that we started with. Humane today build its own internal software stack with no legacy systems in place. And what I mean by that, we have 2 flagship products that we'll be launching this year. One, I never really shared with anybody, but I thought today would be really a good time to talk about it. We think we have built the world's first agentic operating system built in a customized Linux distro, where we decided to make applications second-class citizens. Declare intent, carry your work, but there is no more apps. The apps disappear. So whether you're running payroll, whether you have to do performance management, whether you have to work on procurement, finance. And the reason I did this, I was using Humane and its organization as a living lab to validate what I think all of you know. And I agree with these reports. When you see about what Jito talked about today, the charts around productivity and efficiency, I really think we have solved this, truly solved it. And the challenging part of it is how to create the equilibrium and the ecosystem of partners. So finding the right partners that are not aligned with you only on the financials, but really believe in a future world that these agents could carry the work, and employees are policy enforcers, governors of these agents. So the 2 flagship products that we built, Humane OS, launching April this year, and Humane One, our multi-agent orchestration platform. This is today inside Humane, none of our employees see an app at all. And this is a narrative that I'm excited about because 1985, actually it was in November, Windows was invented, ChatGPT moment happened, but what really has happened in the enterprise? We all come into the same discussion point. Why are we not seeing productivity, efficiency improvement? I think I have a simple answer. You cannot just take a model, glue it on top of legacy platforms and expect to achieve the results you do. But this only happened through collaboration, partnerships, and bringing the right ecosystem to build these platforms.
So let's talk a little bit about societal impact, because this morning we heard a lot of discussion from several of our speakers about how there's a desire to focus on the positive societal impact of AI. So how do you think about what you can ultimately do for starting with the citizens of the kingdom and then expanding out?
Well, look, I'll give you my view, what I saw when I came to the kingdom. I mean, what I always say, seeing is believing. I really encourage you to come and see the transformation I'm witnessing every day in the kingdom.
It is amazing.
It is just amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
I mentioned this many times before. Imagine when you take a taxi from airport, let's say, to your home, where the taxi driver is talking about Vision 2030. You meet a minister, and he's also talking about Vision 2030 and its implication impact to a country transformation, society transformation, and so on. So one of the immediate thing I noticed that is different maybe than the US is how digitized the country is. I mean, how great if you live, I never have to visit something called a DMV, by the way. I could renew
Now you're just bragging.
I could renew my license online. I could change my residency. I could renew my passport. I could sell anything online. So the way I think about AI, yes, you could look at it into two extremes. I'm really one of the optimistic side of what will happen, because the work that we will do together with through this joint venture is an enablement for massive society transformation. And the use cases are infinite, from simple things that you see in healthcare, where now reactive healthcare changed to proactive. The ability with AI chatbots to talk with citizens of the country are utterly remarkable. But why I think Saudi has an ability to leapfrog: extremely good regulatory environment, the digitized frameworks that exist in the country. That means all the model work that we're doing and the applications we're doing is an enablement to really accelerate this development.
Yeah, I think any regulatory impediment that you face can be lifted pretty quickly based on what I've seen. So we got just very little time left. I'm going to ask you a different question than what we originally were going to ask you.
Okay.
I think, talk about working and having the chairman of your board be His Royal Highness.
Well,
how many people in here have been over and met with His Royal Highness?
let's put it this way. August 28, I remember it because it was my birthday, when I was called for a meeting where Humane idea was floated in the royal court. This was the first time I met His Royal Highness. And truthfully, to tell all of you, I have never seen such a visionary person that is also understand the importance of this technology to society and its criticality. I just like that he's decisive. Oh, yeah. I like it. Yeah. So when you come and meet with him, he is not your typical leader. You have to be very well prepared. You have to have the right facts. He's very well briefed. I mean, it's been nothing but really an honor to serve under him and my board for a cause that is incredibly important for the country and the world.
That's awesome. Tareq, thank you for spending time with us. Thanks for
Thank
making
you,
the trip
Chuck.
over.
Thank
Tareq
you.
Amin.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, man.